Hey, y'all. Hey. Happy Sunday. It's nice to see everybody. Let me say hi to people. Hi, Allie. Hi, Team Psych Ward. Molson Man. Good evening, cool cats and kittens. It's your pal, Jen Lou. Cherokee Raider. Mark Klein. Good to see you guys. Hi, hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How's everybody doing? I hope you're doing well on Mischief Night. I'm sure there's other names for it. All Hallows Eve, I think, right? Whatever, Halloween Eve. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a great weekend and everything like that. So, I'm breaking my own rule that I had set up because y'all know I don't uh usually cover ongoing cases, current cases, open investigation cases. Oh, I'm doing well, Allie. I hope it gets better, babe. Anyway, hey Amelia, I don't typically do open cases because it's not that I don't follow them. Obviously I follow them, but I don't cover them mainly because it's very difficult when you have an open case to separate rumor from actual facts, right? And so for me, I like to base my opinions on cases on like actual facts. That's just me though, okay? And it's hard for me to have a discussion when there's a lot of speculation. But tonight what I really wanted to start out with because I really feel like this sums it up. Um so I'm a big fan of chasing truths. I think that I the way that she covers cases is very no nonsense. These are the facts, just the facts. She's always really like calm, cool, and collected. And I can't say enough how the other night um the Leilani and Billy Joe were on another creators panel, and I don't and it got really chaotic. There was confrontation with the people that were demonstrating across the street, and the situation was highly emotional. It was extremely tense, and Chasing, I thought, did a really wonderful job at like calming the situation down and just being real low key and just chill, which is what I like. And I appreciated that about that night, but I also just like the way she hey, crazy mama, what up? Covers the cases, right? So she was live last night and I was in her chat and I was, chit chatting. And I just, I thought she said some really, hey, Nadie, some really excellent things. But this takes the cake. This is my favorite thing that I've seen in a really long time. And I wanted to share this with you um, because it just sort of encapsulates the whole like situation as it is. So, this is on Chronicles of the Shady. If you give me just a second, I'm going to share the screen and then I will drop Chronicles of the Shady channel in the chat. But this is the best thing I've seen in a very, very long time. And I just really feel like it just sums it all up. So let me add this to the stream and then I'll show it. Are y'all ready? All right, here we go.
But I'm going to call the FBI people. Hold on, please. I don't know if they're going to tell me anything, but I think we need to call them. This is very important. Okay? Okay. Hi, FBI. Yes. Yes, it's me again, Chasing from the internet. I know you're tired of all the questions, but listen, this one's important. No, really, it actually is important this time. If you keep getting ugly, you are definitely not getting a basket sent to you. And I know you love the baskets. Listen,
Everybody loves the
do you guys have to
baskets.
take like training or anything? Or can anybody apply? Like, my daughter's looking for a job. And based on the opinions of the internet, you guys are not that bright. And I mean, my daughter's smart. She gets A's. Yeah. So, like, no special training. Like, would you know if somebody was on like drugs or something? Do you think? Or if they're lying? Like, can you tell? You can't? Oh, good. Okay. All right. So there's this case. Listen, it's not a good case. It's about a missing baby and the mother. They think allegedly, maybe, possibly, put the baby into a dumpster. And now the FBI, you guys, not your location, this is a secret number. They're searching for the baby. Hmm. Right. Oh, you know about the case. They're just searching because somebody on social media told them. Oh, well, that makes sense. See, I thought you guys had like specialized training, like way better than YouTube is, but you don't. Oh, I think I'm going to get a badge. People have press badges. Did you know that? You think it'd be okay? Could you send me an FBI badge? I'm going to wear it when I'm on YouTube. You would? I'm definitely sending you the good edible arrangement this time then. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Cordy donated today. Yeah. I'm going to use that money right now. I'm going to go send it. I'm going to get online. All right. I love you so much. Bye. I'm not going to give out your number, okay? No, Bullhorn Betty's not watching. We'll never let her know. Okay, bye. I love you. Yeah, they have no training. They told me. None. It's an act, actually. They're pretending. They know no more than us. So you guys are right, and they don't know what they're doing. You know what I mean? That's what I thought. I wanted to verify it with them. I'm glad I have the private number.
I want to also give you
So you're
guys
right.
Chasing Truth's
They don't really know
channel
much.
too.
I think we're lucky that we got Betty and Dolly at this point because this is an act, and they don't even know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, Kira, me and the FBI, girl, bye. They're like, yeah, yep.
All right. So obviously, I mean, for me, that's sort of like how this is starting to feel a little bit. Like people are just, you know, um, like just coming up with the most. They're doing the most, and they're coming up with stuff that just doesn't make logical sense. So, first thing, let's address this situation with the landfill and what's going on there. All right? Now, I have been all over Hell's Half Acre, aka YouTube, looking for this the source. Where did the idea of Leilani being on video and at a dumpster, where did this originate from? Okay. And a lot of people have blamed a specific creator, and it is true that he or she, that specific creator, may have been the first one to say that live. However, um going through the YouTubes, not just the YouTubes, because obviously, I mean, it is what it is on the YouTubes, right? But articles, okay. I have figured out that. Let me tell you where it's at because I just pulled it up because I was like, oh, okay, that's where it came from because I couldn't figure it out. So, as of the 26th of October, there is a Daily Mail. And listen, I understand about the Daily Mail, right? They don't always get everything correct. They don't always get all the details exact and that stuff, and so you got to take it with a grain of salt, okay? But I will say this, give me just a second, because the cat just served me with a full no knock warrant and busted in here, and I don't want you guys to be able to, I want you to be able to hear me and not what my hubby is watching on TV. Hold on, just give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that. So as far as welcome, oh, thank you, Amelia Sparkles, for the membership, babe. Welcome to Cocaloose. All right. So I was thinking about this. Like, where did this come from anyway with the Daily Mail? So, like, okay. The like I said, they are a source, they are a technically news, right? But they're not always great with the like details, okay? But they did quote her. And it okay, Allie, and it comes from evidently the recorded phone call between Billy Joe and Quinton's biological father. Okay. So that is what she says to him is, I'll tell you, let me pull it up real quick. All right. Um, um, why didn't I bookmark this better? Sorry about this, you guys. Whilst I scroll. Uh, okay. So, in their phone conversation, Bubba asked Billy Joe, who has legal custody of Quentin and his older brother, why police are so confident he was dumped. They're saying they've got video, she replied. Nobody's seen the video. Hey, Void Void. Hey, Nikki Rex. Hey to everyone coming in. I appreciate everybody being here. So, I know, crazy mama, I got to get my shit together. So I've been thinking about this, right? It's we've all seen current cases and how the rumors start, right? And usually where the source of the rumor and stuff like that. But this specific thing, video, that's a very, very specific um, rumor, right? That they have video. And typically, by the third week of an ongoing investigation, right, you can somewhat weed out the rumors from fact. Now, what I'll say about this, hey, Allie 79, good to see you, babe. What I will say about this whole video situation is this: it's coming from Billy. Okay, I don't know why she would tell anybody that to begin with. I don't know what reason she would have to say that her daughter was on, or that she was told that her daughter was on video. I have no idea what she would. I've racked my brain, because you guys know I love to find a loophole, and I really cannot figure out what she would have to gain from repeating something like that or making it up out of whole cloth, right? I cannot figure out what what the motive for that would be. It does nothing. It doesn't She doesn't gain anything from that, okay? So, and then I started thinking back to the Brian Laundrie situation, and how while they did investigate other tips and leads and stuff, the primary search and their almost sole focus was out at that park, that nature preserve. And there's a reason for that. And no matter how much people um, stood in front of a house or even were down out there while they were out there searching, no matter what the outside world did, law enforcement was not detoured from searching there. And that was a massive undertaking for Northport. Well, I guess it really wouldn't be Northport, but you know what I'm saying. It was a huge place to have to search. It was expensive. It's the same thing with the landfill. There is a very, very good reason why they're out there and why they are, if they are actively searching any other locations, we don't know about it. And they're being uber covert about it because usually the media will suss it out and they haven't picked up on it either. So they're out there at the landfill for a reason, and it's a good reason. Now, at this point, none of us it's we're not, let me tell you what will happen, okay? Let me tell you when we will find out why they were at the landfill and what the cops knew and when they knew it, okay? When and if someone is arrested for this crime, it will be in the arrest affidavit. We'll know I mean, won't know all of the things, but we'll know what the state went in front of a judge and presented as evidence that secured a warrant for an individual or individuals arrest. We'll know then, and then it will all make sense to us. And one of the other things that I keep one question just and I've been really trying, and I have to give another shout out to Queen Bee, to her channel. So I've been listening a lot to Queen Bee because she has been covering the demonstration that's going on out in front of the home, right? And so I've been paying a lot of she's doing an excellent job. And today and last night, she had a couple of people who were actual demonstrators out at the home up on her panel. And I wanted to hear what they had to say because the first girl that she had up last night is the woman who was arrested for the knocking on the window or the tapping on the window. And what I will say is one of the things that she said was that what got her upset was the fact that she says that Leilani was dancing in the window. Now, I have again searched all over Hell's Half Acre, aka YouTube, and the Googles, and I have found a ton of videos saying that Leilani was dancing in the window. I have yet to find a single clip of video of Leilani dancing in the window. All right. But bottom line is that's what she said, like lit a fire under her and just her emotions got the best of her, yada yada yada. But I wanted to understand what their purpose and what they hope to accomplish by being out there. And I feel like I feel that they're extremely frustrated and that their purpose is to I can't honestly say what their purpose is. I really don't understand what they um and to be fair, it was kind of hard, so for them to talk because the lady that was on tonight, she had her little one, and he was fussy or whatever, so it was kind of hard for her to get her story out. So hopefully she'll come back. But it seemed like they wanted just to have a the overall impression I got was that they wanted to give Quentin a voice. And to some extent, that I understand. But what very strongly disagree with is the method that is being employed to go about being a voice for Quentin or to get justice for Quentin. That's the problem that I don't understand. That's where I'm confused because I I will say this. I do understand why they're not in front of CPS. Um, CPS has minors, going in and out of there. CPS, does a lot of different things. So it's probably not great that they go and protest in front of CPS, especially, there's children there. It's probably, um, I just don't think that the way to, I'm very curious what they think justice looks like at this point. So I went and I was like, "Okay, so why is everybody saying, 'How come they haven't arrested her? How come they haven't arrested her? She's on probation. She's got double probation,'" which that is true. Apparently, Leilani is on probation both in North from charges out of North Carolina and from out of Georgia. Okay? So, um the one from The one from North Carolina is was in 2021 after she was stealing cigarettes, popcorn, and soda from her job, and she took a plea deal on a lesser charge, and it included probation and community service. And then the first one was in 2020. She was charged with breaking into a trailer and stealing money. And she initially was charged with first degree burglary and pled down to criminal trespass and was given 12 months of probation. So essentially, um, if she was given 12 months of probation, I don't know. This article isn't incredibly um, detailed in exactly when she started probation because technically, if you think about it, right, if she were on probation in 2021 out of North Carolina, right, um, or if she were on probation out of Georgia and then caught another charge in North Carolina, technically she would have been violating her probation. I don't know of any probation that doesn't have a caveat in there where you cannot be arrested or charged with a new crime. So that, yeah, Kimberly, I'm with you. I don't listen. I have heard of all kinds of things being done in the name of justice. Honk for justice, um, yell for justice. I have never, ever, ever heard anybody cry out that they're twerking for justice. And listen, I'm not anti twerk, like, do what you want. But I've never, I've never heard of twerking in the name of justice. Maybe it's going to be a new thing. I hope not, but whatever. Like, it is what it is. Um, I feel like, so there's a little bit of a disconnect there, right? Now, she is the way that the article reads, it sounds like she is currently on probation both in Georgia and North Carolina. So, that's a little bit it's kind of a weird thing because usually when you're so she would have been on probation initially in Georgia, right? And then she would have moved to North Carolina, which is where she caught the second charge, which then led to her being on probation out of North Carolina. And why maybe the only thing that I can think of that would have caused Georgia potentially to be like, "Ugh, it's not worth it, is because she was nearing the end of her probation and had the up until that point through probation's eyes. I'm just going to put it like that. You guys can figure it out. She had been following all of the requirements and was at almost at the end of her probation, and maybe she'd been good, a good probationer. Okay, because typically they'll revoke your probation. They don't even care if it's out of a different state. Now, why they have not, um, so if so then she got on probation in North Carolina. So in order for her to be on probation, right, in North Carolina, but living in Georgia, she has to have permission to do that. They don't just you know, let you just move around when you're on probation, okay? Especially felony probation, right? So she has permission to be in Georgia. And I have never tried to twerk either because after I had my kiddos, my back is not right, and I ain't even gonna try because that's all I need is to go into the emergency room all hunched over, and they're like, "What happened?" And I'm 45 years old. Can you imagine me waltzing into the ER being like, "Let me tell you what happened. I tried to twerk and I was successful, but now my back is out." Like, no, I'm not even going to risk it because I just know better. I just know better. Um, it's not going to go good. So there you go. Like, why wouldn't, what would the probation violation be at this point out of North Carolina? What would it be? Or even out of Georgia? What would they revoke her probation for? She is a suspect. Now, what I am talking about is the legality of the situation, okay? Because what I think people are forgetting is that law enforcement is bound by laws, okay? And they cannot just, I mean, okay, theoretically, could they just go snatch her up and arrest her and charge her with hell, any neglect, anything? Well, yeah, they could. Okay. But what will end up happening more than likely is, let's say they do that. Let's say they just go ahead and be like, you know what? We're charging you with neglect. All right. So they charge her with neglect. They arrest her. If she is on probation still in North Carolina, I know North Carolina she is, but Georgia, let's say she's just in on probation in North Carolina, right? Because the article is not real clear about that, and I don't want to say something, but I know for sure she is out of North Carolina. So let's say what she gets arrested again for neglect, right? So North Carolina would have the option to revoke her probation, in which case she would be at some point after whatever happens, like she gets her day in court to plead in front of the judge, and the judge, grants bail, and she's, then North Carolina goes and picks her up. All right, so then North Carolina has her, right? So how does that I mean, she's off the streets, which is what people seem to want, but people, and I get it, they want her off the streets, but law enforcement wants to build a case. So, which is a better option for law enforcement, okay? If they let's say if they charge her with something, pick her up, arrest her for neglect. Her probation is revoked out of either Georgia or North Carolina or both, right? She's not going anywhere, she's locked up, but she's also not talking. She has, according to her mom, who has said it on other um, channels, She has been in and out of the police station like 3 or 5 times, and they've let her go each time. So either they have let her go because they don't have enough to make it stick, or she told them nothing and they don't have enough to make it stick. Something tells me, based on the familial history, that this is, and I'm not judging. This is just the facts, okay? The fact is that family has a history with law enforcement. Her brother has a history. So it isn't like this family is unfamiliar with the process, the legal system, the way it goes, how the system works. Okay. Hey, oh, what were they out there for, Charms? Let me go look. Please hold. Breaking news. Let's go see. Let's go see. Oh, Lord. Um, Let me look. Mm-mm-mm. Bless it. Whose channel should I go look on, you guys? I know where I'll go. Let me see what's happening. I don't want to like play anybody else's stream because I don't think that's cool. Like when it's different if you're like it's after the fact and you're calming over it. All right. I'm listening right now. Thank you, Charms. All right. I don't like want to play anybody else's stream just because it's one thing to do it after the fact. You know what I'm saying? It's just for me. It's another thing to, like, we'll get the news when we get the news. I'm not shocked. I'm very curious what they did at this point to get arrested or potentially arrested. Now I had heard, Charms, earlier that Bullhorn Betty and Dolly were out there earlier, not now, but they were out there today earlier. So, I mean, look, Mark, it's not a good situation. Is it ideal? Absolutely. I wouldn't go so far as to call Billy Joe that. I don't know. You know what I mean? Um, and I don't even want to even judge her. I don't even want to judge Leilani on 3 kids with 3 different men. I mean, she's young and it's clear I mean, it just, sometimes it's like that, and I don't want to make a blanket statement judging because I don't know what the circumstances are with the fathers of the children. And, I don't know how to me, it seems like from just, the talk and whatnot that not all of the dads were active in their boys' lives, and so yeah, it just doesn't sound like a good situation, and I feel bad for the kids. Well, yeah, we all judge. You're right, Mark. We do judge, but I'm not going to judge her on that. Let me. I would. I just am not. If you want to, cool. I don't. I don't tell other people what to be judgy about. Um, Uh-oh. Well, thank you. Thank you, Charms. I appreciate that. Yeah, we do all judge. And I do it as well, but I'm just not, I'm choosing not to judge on that because I don't know the circumstances, why she has um, different baby daddies. Like, sometimes it just doesn't work out. It is what it is. And I'm not going to, there's other shit we can judge her for, right? Now, Um, Bottom line is, I think the reason that law enforcement, and this is the one that makes the most logical sense, is that they don't they don't want to arrest her at this time because likely they don't have enough to make anything stick enough, or not only do they not have enough to make um, a charge stick, depending on what the charge is, obviously, but they also don't want to run the risk that she doesn't speak. Because from what I have understood, for the most part, of course, law enforcement isn't saying, hey, Bill, Leilani has been cooperative or she has not been cooperative. So the fact of the matter is, we don't know. All we can say is, oh no, Mark, I totally get it. I totally get it. All we do know for sure, or all we know is that she has been down there more than once. I'll say it like that because I don't know the exact number. She's been down there more than once and they've let her go. And they have not said that she is not cooperating. So that's all I'll say about that. Now, the other question that I have personally, this is just me, I have heard it come up repeatedly. Why isn't Danny being investigated? Well, how do we know he's not? I mean, let's think this through. What exactly do we know about this investigation from law enforcement? We know that local law enforcement, we know that GBI, and we know the FBI is involved. That we know. We know that they are searching the landfill, and that's the only place they're searching. That we know. And they've released a few statements where they have said, yes, we're searching in the landfill. We'll continue to search in the landfill. And we have, we're still piecing stuff together, right? That's all we know. Also, let's keep in mind that they did go into uh, the home that Leilani shares with her mom and brother. Okay, so we know that, right? And they, I'm sure, took stuff out, right? We don't know what they took, but anything that they would have taken would have been sent to a lab for analysis. And now I get it. It's been 3 weeks, but do y'all know how backed up a crime scene, I mean, a crime lab is? So they're probably waiting on if anything was collected, any samples were collected and sent off from the various parts of the home, because we don't know. All we know is that it was, and they whatever. Why would what would they real I mean, what results would they have back at this point? The only thing that they would ever know um, immediately is if they did one of those presumptive tests for blood. If they saw a stain and they did that test that they do to see if it is blood, that comes back immediately. But everything else has to wait, and so we don't know who all is being investigated in this case. Now, they've said that Leilani is their prime and only, and I have gone back to listen, and they did say that. Um, hey, Angel Joy, thanks for coming in. Um, Now I got distracted. What was I saying? Oh, we don't. All they've said is, and oh, I did go back and listen. They did say that. They did say our prime suspect. Then a reporter said, is she your only suspect? Or does that mean only suspect? Something to that effect, right? And the chief said yes. So evidently, um, hi sugar beet, good to see you, babe. Yeah, so that's their stance, okay? But that doesn't mean that they are not investig investigating anybody else, or haven't investigated anybody else, or haven't investigated anybody else, and some people are cleared and some people are not. The fact of the matter is, we just don't know. We don't know, and that's the truth. And that's an excellent point, Kimberly, as well, is that they've also apparently turned over phones that Leilani didn't have. Leilani's phone was there, and I don't know anything more than that. And the only and I mean, I don't even think I feel comfortable saying knowing, because I don't know. I wasn't there, and law enforcement hasn't said that for sure. But according to the family, Leilani's phone was taken. Now, just give me one real quick second. I'm going to run through the living room really quick, and I don't want you guys to have to hear it. So just give me a sec. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. I'm glad you brought this up, Mark, because this is an excellent point. Okay. Um, an Angel, I read your comment, and let me just say this thing, one thing, to Mark, about Mark's comment, and then I'm going to get to yours, because yours is interesting too. All right. So she did say, if they find anything that it comes back and I'm at fault, then I'll turn myself in, I'll walk myself down to the jail, whatever that turn of phrase that she used, which was an interesting uh it's an interesting choice of words. That's for sure. I don't think there's anybody that would disagree with that. But let me tell you what it says to me, okay, about the person who would make a comment like that. What it says to me is, I'm not talking until I have no choice. And even then, I'm probably not going to talk. That's what that says to me about that type of person, that she is not going to freely offer up any information that may implicate her in anything. Do you see what I'm saying? And I want to be very careful, because, as you guys know here at the ward, my familiars, if you're new, welcome, and I'm going to give you like a brief introduction just real quick. I I'm all about due process, innocent until proven guilty, the right to a fair trial, the right to a fair and impartial jury. I believe in our justice system. I know that it is not perfect, but I do believe in ours, okay? So, for me, um at this point, I'm careful in what I say, because I respect the fact that people are innocent until proven guilty. And at this point, all we really have are allegations. She has not been charged with anything. So, legally, That's we're only allowed to say allegedly or in my opinion, or you know what I'm saying? We can't say for certain. There are certain things that we cannot say for certain because we simply don't know. We can suspect, we can think, but we don't know. And there, this case um, is a case where I law enforcement has exercised extreme restraint. I have seen, and I know you guys have seen because you guys are true crime fans, otherwise, you wouldn't be here. It interests you, where the public has pressured law enforcement to say something before they were ready, and it does happen. We've all seen it. But in this situation, they haven't. They have remained very, very tight lipped. Um, Usually there is something leaked to the media, just some little tiny something. You know what I mean? A little nugget from inside the investigation. And we are at week 3, right? It's almost been a month. Today's the 30th. Tomorrow's the 31st. So 31st, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. In 6 days, it will be a month, okay, since Quinton has been missing. And if you'll notice in my description, I put his description, the description that's on his missing persons poster in the description of the video, because I think it's important for us to remember who, what's going on here, what this is really about, who this is really about. This is not about the demonstrators doing whatever the hell it is that they're doing, twerking, playing babies crying, playing, you know, video. It has nothing to do with any of that. Though that is not what this case is about. This case is about a 20-month-old named Quinton Simon. That's what this case is about. That's who we should be focusing on. That's it. None of this other shenanigans. None of it. Almost. Team Psych Ward, almost. Almost. It'll be a month and 6 days. October 5th was the day he went missing. Um, okay. Oh, well, thank you, Kimberly. I appreciate that. Okay. I want to get back up here to Angel Joy's comment because I thought this was a good comment. Okay. I've been thinking about this a lot, Angel Joy, a lot, a lot. Like, because it is, hang on, Nikki. That's a good point too. And I'm going to talk about that. Don't let me star yours so I won't forget because that's easiest. Oh, Allie, I hope you feel better, babe. I'm glad you're back. Okay, so why are they so sure that the baby that Quentin is in the landfill? Okay, and I've been thinking about this and pondering this in my mind since this has happened, since it came out, right? That's where he was at, possibly, because we aren't going to know until we know. So potentially, right? And why they have not um, gone anywhere else that we know of. Which I would have to say again, I think it's interesting that we haven't, because even with Brian Laundrie, while the bulk of the investigation was set at the national park, right? We did catch wind, and so did the media, when a tip was given and they went out somewhere else to look for however long, however briefly it was, whatever it was they did, the media was all over it, and they haven't been in this case. So I really feel like, oh, thank you, Nikki, welcome. I really feel like there is that they're not looking anywhere else, or if they're doing it, it is so covert and on the download that even the media hasn't picked up, and I find that hard to believe because the media finds out everything. Let's be honest, we've seen this before. Um, so um, they must have, and I can't tell you what the evidence is because I simply don't know. I could hazard a guess, but that's all that it would be. Is that it's I would imagine, okay, that it isn't just a single piece of evidence, right? So if Billy Joe is saying that it's video evidence, right? Um, then I think let's go with that. Let's say that's what was told. I still can't figure out a reason why she would make that up. All right, why she would say that she was told by law enforcement that they have a video of Leilani, right? Now I've said this on a different channel, but I've said it many times. It's very likely that they do have her on video, right? But what do they have? Okay. They probably have her at a dumpster and they probably have her um, throwing something in the dumpster, but they can't quite make out exactly what it is. I don't know very many um, like high definition, really good ca- cameras that are focused on dumpsters. And that's just the facts, right? So they probably have some grainy footage of her, right? But they can't tell what's in there, which is why they are so fixated on the landfill because not only do um, they need his, first of all, he should be put to rest if he's wherever he is. He deserves that. Okay. He should be able to rest in peace. That's first and foremost. Right. But the second thing is that they need something that is connected, that connects Leilani to the dumpster and to Quinton. And the only way to do that is to have Quinton. That's the truth. That's how that's how it gets connected. And if they are worried, they if they went through their phones, which has been said, then like if she had her phone with her, then there is some kind, probably some sort of ping verifying that she was at this specific dumpster at this specific, because they were careful about what they said and they did say it was specific. So this is a tremendous undertaking for them, both physically because it's a landfill, and they were behind, way behind the eight ball, as it were, when it comes to figuring out that this is what possibly happened, right? And so you think about, just even if, think about it this way. Let's say that they had found out within a couple of days, right? Do you know how much trash would have been taken to the to the landfill in those 2 days? How many tons of garbage? It's still huge. It's a huge task. So they're out there on this search that is physically draining and financially draining. And you're right, Angel Joy. That is a, I mean, there is a possibility, and that possibility does exist. How small is it? I don't know, because it's hard to know how possible or probable it is that it was Quinton that she put in that dumpster. Because to your point, and you're 100% correct on this, the fact of the matter is that Leilani was served with eviction papers. Regardless of whether Billy intended to go through with that or not is a moot point. She has, because of that, right? She has a perfectly plausible explanation for being at a dumpster, right? If that's all they have is just a videotape, right? She could say, "Well, my mom was evicting me, and we don't." this, whatever it was I was throwing away was too big to fit in the trash, or I didn't want my mom seeing it, or it was something my mom gave me, and I didn't want her going back and getting it out of the trash. She could have a number of reasonable explanations for being at the dumpster, and that's just the facts. I get it, sugar beet, and I appreciate that. I understand, babe. I get it. So the fact that and you're right, they don't have, we don't know what they have. That's the problem. So it's very, very difficult to say, but it just, there is something about the fact that they have decided to take this on as a search, as a place to search. I mean, it's huge. It's exhaustive work. It's tedious work, and to be quite blunt, the likelihood of recovering what they're out there to find isn't all that great. The odds are really not with them; they're against them, and and that's just the truth. So the fact that they have been so adamant about continuing their search out there and haven't moved off of it tells me they have some kind of really good evidence. It tells me this is going to be like potentially um oh, okay, Allie, I'll look at it, babe, after the show. I appreciate you reaching out. Thank you very much. So, um yeah, like there is a reason why they're doing this. Okay, so this is the other question that I wanted to, or comment that I wanted to talk about. Wouldn't her first probation would have transferred to where she moved, then catching a charge could have, yes. So if I am understanding correctly, and I read correctly, which I did read it like 37 times, so um, I feel like that's probably um, the way it reads, is that she was first on probation from charges in Georgia. Okay. And then she was put on probation for the theft in North Carolina. Okay. Now, I don't know all of, and the circumstances around that are very vague. And to be quite honest with you, I don't want to, I suppose I could do a FOIA request, um, but I don't really know like what it would what purpose it would serve for me to know, like, if she currently on probation in both places. I don't know why I accidentally hid yours. I meant to keep it up there. Sorry. So what I'm sort of curious about is how much time on the original probation out of Georgia she had left, and how compliant she was with that probation. There are circumstances where, and remember when this is taking place, this is about the time, right? She got probation in Georgia right about the time of the pandemic, okay? And then would have gotten the second um, put on probate, caught the second charge and been put on probation sort of at the tail end of the pandemic. And it's very, very possible that that's why her probation wasn't revoked out of Georgia. Because if your probation is revoked, you go immediately, um, to jail, and it's revoked, and um, your whatever you pled to, you do that. Whatever that charge is the jail time that you do. And obviously you don't do, day for day. Usually you get out for good behavior and whatnot, but bottom line is you go to jail, period, right? You're going to serve because they've given you a chance. So that's what I think is that she caught a lucky break, quite honestly. And that's the truth. She, it fell through the cracks. So yeah, technically, because I don't, like I said, I don't know of any probation ever in the history of probation ever that does not have a caveat in your conditions of probation that you not get arrested again, charged with a crime. Now, I know that there are, like, a good defense attorney could argue, well, like, not this isn't the situation here because obviously she has a second probation, right? But I mean, you can be accused of a crime but actually be innocent. And so, like, let's say that was the situation. Let's say, somebody on probation gets accused and arrested of a crime, but they actually didn't do it and they end up being acquitted of the crime, then that's different. But that's not what happened here. So it is what it is. Okay. That's part of the deal when you're on probation. That this is like the court saying, hey, all right, we're going to give you a chance, but if you don't do what we say and you don't do follow these terms, then you're going to have to do your jail time, and that's just the way that it goes. It is what it is. Um so that's that part about the probation. I suspect it has a lot more to do with COVID than anything else. Okay, this is what I can say. This is how Billy Joe explained the custody situation. Okay, so in the truest sense of the words, right? How does that say? Oh, strictly speaking, okay. Leilani, custody was not taken from Leilani, meaning the state did not come in and say, you cannot, we're going to remove your rights, and then gave Billy Joe an opportunity to take the kids. That's not what happened. What happened was something occurred, and Leilani gave custody to Billy Joe, and it was finalized by the courts, meaning it was it wasn't like a power of attorney, or the courts signed off on it. Okay, but that doesn't mean that the way that I understood it is that the state didn't. It wasn't at the state's behest. This was done by Leilani voluntarily. What caused her to do that voluntarily, I have no idea. And I don't think we're going to know anytime soon, because quite honestly, there's a gag order on the custody of the children currently, and so I doubt that anybody that knows those details would be able to talk about those details because of the gag order. And even if they weren't sure, they would probably err on the side of caution and not talk about it because of the gag order. So um, that's what I think. Um, you know, Angel, this is a good point, but again, I have to say that there is a reason why that's the only place that they're looking. Do you know what I mean? Because it's not like they are searching the landfill, right? They've got a team out there searching the landfill, and everybody else is just sitting around waiting, like for them to either find Quinton there or not find Quinton there. The investigation is still going on in other aspects, right? The crime lab is processing whatever, if they have anything, whatever they have, if anything at all, they're processing that, right? And they're waiting for those results. They're probably looking at all kinds of things: social media posts, phone activity. I know that it's been said that um, the that law enforcement asked for ring footage or door cam, or any footage, video footage that any of the neighbors may have, right? So they're still investigating the case, like they're still looking at other things. But whatever it is that they're looking at, and whatever it is that they have found at this point, hasn't led them to look anywhere else, and there's a reason for that. Like, I would imagine, people have referenced the landfill as like looking for a needle in a haystack, and I would say that the much more appropriate, I can't remember if this is a metaphor or analogy, but would be looking for a needle in a stack of needles, honestly. Um, they did. They did, Angel. It's my understanding that they did ask the neighbors, that they did canvass the neighborhood to see if any of the neighbors had cameras and ask for their footage. So, and I was thinking about this today too, and this is a good point that that as you said, Max, 2002. This is a good point. They do usually go back to places that are connected with the crime, but what's preventing that from happening right now is the demonstration that's going on out front. See, the thing is, I am not admonishing or um, saying nobody should protest or I don't believe in protests. I do. I believe in all of that, right? But in circumstances such as these, it can actually hinder the investigation because they're the demonstrators are out there in front all the time, right? Watching what's going on in that house. Okay. And although they have to leave at a certain time, right? They're not allowed to be out there all day and all night, or they can be. I think they can be out there, but they can't be saying anything, right? There's a curfew or time limit or whatever it is. Not a curfew, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, um, at this point, um, after what happened on Tybee Island, right? That household is keenly aware of just how much they are being watched, right? That even when they decided to leave their home, right? It didn't take long before they were tracked down. And not only did it not take long for them to be tracked down, then other stuff, then what they were doing out that night at the restaurant and who was doing what, et cetera, that came out too. So this family is is keenly aware of just how many eyeballs are really on them. And so the fact of the matter is, if she were going to do anything, she's not fixing to do anything now because they're out there. And now it's escalated to a point, mainly what started to capture the attention of bigger news, or not bigger, but nationwide news organizations, is the demonstrators. What's going on out there is catching the news. So now, if she had any anonymity before, she most certainly does not now. And that's a problem because if she were going to do anything, it would have been within those first few days. And this is another thing that I find interesting about the ex boyfriend, or I don't even know if they're broken up or what the deal is. Okay, but whatever. Um, I, f- I find it interesting that they aren't together, right? Because if if we think about it just from purely an analytical space, right? If you committed a crime with somebody, okay, whatever that crime is, obviously this is the most serious crime that you can commit, like serious as morally and serious as in consequences that you can possibly commit, right? Wouldn't you want to keep an eye on the person that you committed that crime with? So for me, it's interesting that they're not together in the same location. That's what's interesting to me. Is and the other thing I thought about is it's not like Leilani is like new to that neighborhood. They've been there a minute. Oh, Nikki, GBI is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. It's like So if you have local law enforcement, right? And then you have like the state police and then the FBI. That's how like the hierarchy. Um so I was thinking about that and it reminded me of an episode of Criminal Minds that I watched um where they suspected a mother of unaliving her child and they refrained from like naming her in the press as a suspect. They kind of just let her be the grieving mother that she wanted to be, right? And they just sat back and watched her. And she ended up on the show having put the baby somewhere close where she could keep an eye on where she had put the baby just to know, just to keep tabs on the investigation, quite frankly, is why she is what that story was about. And I thought that was interesting too. Like, um, you know, so and I'm so Angel, you know, that's a good thought. Absolutely, that's a good suggestion. And I thought about that too, because I've been covering the Pike County Massacre trial, George Wagner. Let me say his full government name, George Washington Wagner the Fourth. His trial is going on currently, right? And one of the pieces of evidence that they've introduced at this trial are what they called intercept wiretaps. So when the family um, went to Alaska to visit, this is before they moved there, but when they went to Alaska to visit, okay, was it? Yeah. When they went to visit, um, the BCI, which is Ohio State Police, essentially, like the FBI at the state level, right? They intercepted them and brought them in for questioning. And while they had them in I think it was Montana, while they had them at the police department in Montana and they were questioning them, somebody else was outside wiring their vehicles. And then they also were able to record phone conversations. Now, the thing about that is that I learned is that it's not that easy to get a judge to sign off on that kind of surveillance. They're much quicker to sign off on like poll cameras where they watch, the house and it's monitored in real time 25/8. That there is much easier for that's a more likely scenario that a judge will grant that, but the level of evidence that it takes to convince judges to sign off on listening devices is very, very high. And because I don't know, obviously, what law enforcement has, I don't know if they have enough evidence or what to be able to do that. I mean, they're absolutely, Angel, you're right. I mean, that neighborhood is keenly aware of what's going on and what the accusations are. Like they know the best, and I'm sure that they've talked to like the neighbors and stuff like that. This is what I'm curious about, and I know this is the part of what's going on aside from the obvious, which is that potentially that little baby is out there in the landfill. And I just hate to think of him. And then when I read his clothing description, and I know it's Georgia and it's starting to cool off there, and it is, it just breaks my heart. But aside from all of that, the other part of that's heartbreaking to me is that tomorrow is Halloween, okay? And I don't know how many of you guys and gals in here are parents or have, nieces, nephews, but we all remember what it was like to be a kid. And we all remember what it was like to go trick or treating and how fun it was and how exciting it was. And I am hopeful that the situation that's going on in that neighborhood hasn't made it where these kiddos that live in that neighborhood don't get to do their trick or treating or enjoy Halloween because of it. Does that make sense? It just breaks my heart to think of kids, just generally speaking, not being able to um, enjoy things that they should be able to enjoy as children. I don't like to see that kind of stuff taken away from them because of somebody else's behavior. You know what I mean? And I know that that law enforcement recognizes what a volatile situation it is out there right now. People are angry, very, very angry, and they see they really are incensed at the behavior displayed by equally, I think I've seen people say Billy Joe and by Leilani. And I have to say, um, I watched the interview, obviously, that Leilani and Billy Joe gave to the news. And I also watched the night that Billy Joe was on that other creators panel. I I don't really know what the rules are, so that's why I'm using the terms that I'm using because I don't have any beef with that creator. We're cool. I watch her stuff. I've commented in her chats tons. I've been on her panel before, so I just don't know what the rules are. So I don't know what I should and shouldn't say. So it's better for me not to say anything. So um, I but anyway, I watched that, and I will say this: what I saw from Billy Joe, the emotion that I saw from her that day, that evening, I believe was genuine. Can I say for 100% certainty and 100% fact that that was genuine? No. And you know why I can't? Because I don't know Billy Joe. And to be fair, on the opposite end of that, neither does anybody, most people who are saying it was disingenuous, right? That she's faking it or whatever. You have to know somebody in order to know whether they're faking it or not. Now, Leilani, on the other hand, her demeanor is difficult for me because to take because I have to take into consideration number one, first and foremost, I don't know her. So I don't know what she's like on the daily, right, this under without these circumstances going on around her. Okay, that's number one. Number two, her age. And I understand that she is a mom and that when you choose to be a mom, regardless of the age that it happens, the right thing to do is everything else that you as a person become secondary or tertiary, however many children you have, that's how far down the line your needs are, right? The children come first. And I'm saying that as a mom who was young. I was 18 when I had my first one. My second one is 10 months apart from my oldest. I was 19 then. I was 21 when I had my third, and I was 28 when I had my fourth. Okay. And so I was a young mom, and I had three children under three at one point, and it was a tremendous amount of work. And financially, we were strapped for cash because we were young. And but when it came to my children, no matter if I was sick, if I was exhausted, if I was sad, none of that mattered. Whatever my kids needed, that's what came first. So even if I mean, there obviously pregnancies lapsed over. So there were times when I was with my boys while I was pregnant with my daughter, and I would be giving them a bath and having morning sickness in the toilet. That's the truth of it. That's how it goes. That's how it was. And so to me, being a young mom is not an excuse. However, what I will say is my thinking, my reactions, my emotions were completely different at 22 than than they are now, or even, like at 32. So coping skills, all of that stuff, those factors have to be taken into consideration when we're trying to figure out, is she being uh, disingenuous or not. And um, Tracy, I would say that I'm sure that that's occurring. I'm sure that they're that um, you know there's that he's being questioned. Um, so yeah. Well, I only have 4 children, and my oldest son has a different father than my youngest son. But I've been with my baby daddy for what's in April. It'll be 28 years or 29 since 1995, whatever that math is. Y'all do that math. A long time. High objection overruled. Good to see you. Um, yeah. So there you go. But that's kind of all I wanted to chat with you guys about. Now, listen, I am very fascinated and interested in this case, and I do want to talk about this case. But for me personally, like, it's difficult for me to like continue to rehash over and over and over and over. Like, we just don't know anything yet. But when new things come out, and they always do, of course, I intend to cover it. I I would say it's not. I would say Team Psych Ward. I agree with you. It's not looking too good for Leilani. It's not. Um, hey Heather, whatever. Good to see you, babe. So as stuff comes up, I'll want to discuss it. Like, I'm not saying that I won't, like, it'll be, forever or however long it takes for there to be like a break in the case before I'll cover it again. No, because that would be completely disingenuous for me to say, because quite frankly, there's so much stuff that's going on surrounding this case and the case itself, that for me, if I think of something new that I want to talk about, or I think should be talked about, I will talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I do, um, I think these discussions are important to have. I think that it's important to, um, it's one thing to sort of speculate. Like, obviously, there has to be a degree of speculation because, again, for the 11th billionth time, we don't know enough. We don't know that much, right? Oh, you're welcome, Team Psych Ward. Thank you for being here, babe. Um, you know what I'm saying? So, like, there's a certain degree of speculation that will go into it, but I can't, I don't, I want to try to keep, like, any speculation that we do based on available facts, and try to keep speculation at a minimum, because I don't want to I don't want to contribute to um, any type of harm done to this case, because, and I've said this on other panels too, and now I'm saying it here on my own panel, on my own channel. This is very, very important. When we think of a case, to me, I equate a case like a marathon. Okay. At the beginning, to take this case as an example, at the beginning is the report. So the first report where uh, it was reported that Quinton was missing. Okay, that's when the marathon starts. Arrest is like the, I don't know, because this case is different circumstances. I'll say like the 5 mile mark. Okay, the end of the marathon is, then there's, well, the end of the marathon would be um, at the end of a trial when a verdict is reached. Okay, so there's a lot of time in between um, the the start of the case and the finish of the case, right? And no part of that of the case is more important than another part. But I will say this: if you don't have a good investigation, then you likely won't be successful in prosecuting. Oh, let me see. Where do I? Oh, fill us in. Forever trolling. What were they there for? Were they there for the demonstrations or what? Good to see you, by the way. Hey, hey, hey. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome, welcome. Um, so for me, that's how I think of it. And if who oh, okay. If I don't want, we need to be mindful of that. We need to be mindful of that. And this is the other thing that I will say. While I understand our interest and wanting to hear from anybody and everybody involved, what I would say is please exercise caution because, again, there has to be a prosecution. And that's all I'll say about that. Just I think, oh dear, oh boy, you see, this is my, this is why I get so, this is not like, this is just not good. This is steadily increased and escalated. Um, are we talking about Dolly being live forever trolling? Um, I'm particularly concerned with this situation because it's escalated and it's steadily escalated. Number one, but number two, oh okay, is Georgia is a stand your ground state. And I mean, obviously, you can't just do whatever, right? But it, I just, it's not a good situation. And there are other people in that neighborhood who have nothing to do with this and are essentially have their lives turned upside down. And okay, Allie, just take your time. Um, essentially just so sad. Their lives have been turned upside down because and they have nothing to do with this. They weren't there. They don't know anything. They can't help or aid in the situation, but they're being punished no differently. And again, I'm worried for the kids in that neighborhood too. That's to me, um, not to be like to Whitney Houston, but the children really are our future. I mean, let's be real. Let's be honest about this situation here, and let's be honest about how the world works. You know, the kids of today are going to be taking care of us in our old age, okay? And who needs them to be? Yeah, we don't need all that business, right? We just don't need it. It's not necessary. I understand the outrage. I understand the frustration. I would understand it more, I think, if law enforcement wasn't doing anything. You know what I mean? But they're not. They're investigating this case. We don't there's just we're not in okay, as the public, this part of the race as or the marathon as it is not we're not entitled to the information at this time. I want everybody to know that we will know when an an arrest is made, or arrests, however it goes down, right? When a person or persons is charged with this crime, first of all, we're going to be the arrest affidavit will be public record, number one. Number two, then there will be a trial. But before the trial, there's going to be all kinds of hearings and all this, that, and the third. And so we're going to start to find stuff out. Okay. We are going to know at some point, we're going to know what happened. But which is more important? The right person be charged and convicted for the right crime, or we rush, right? Or we get told everything, which leads to a poor investigation and a potential acquittal. Is that what we want? It's not what I want. It's not. So I think let's all like remember what's at stake here. Yeah, I saw that forever trolling, and it's not even just that, it's gonna be other YouTubers. Evidently, it is, um, there's beefs. Know what I'm saying? And it's just like, ugh, bless it. All right, you guys. Well, that's really all I had to say for tonight. I thank you guys all for being here. I really do. I appreciate it. It's cool that I'm getting to see not really new faces. Like I see you guys around the YouTube streets. So I do know you and stuff, and I've seen you and everything. But it's cool that you're over here on my channel, and I'm glad to see you guys coming over here to chat. And excellent up to the minute reporting, forever trolling. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. Cuz look, I'm nosy, and I'm not going to deny that. If I wasn't nosy, I wouldn't be interested in true crime. You have to have an element of being a nosy Parker, right? To be interested in true crime. There has to be an element of that. And so yeah, I have all of that. And I'm fascinated by these cases, and I'm sad at the same time. It breaks my heart because this is just a situation that was just ugh, ugh, just terrible. Anyway, but I want to thank everybody for being here. If you have not done so already, give your girl a thumbs up on the stream. I would greatly appreciate it. And I'm going to try, for those of you guys that like the Pike County Massacre, Ohio versus George Washington Wagner the fourth trial. Oh yeah. I'll put it in chat for you. I'm not on my phone, and I really can't stand typing on this laptop. I'm going to do it. I'm just so used to typing on my phone. I haven't I'm not good at typing on the computer anymore. Like I used to be really good at it. Now I'm like tick 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 tick, poking. It's ridiculous, kind of sad. But there you go. There's my email, you guys. I appreciate it. I'm gonna try to I'll try to stream the trial tomorrow. There was probably a delay because George's attorneys subpoenaed Jake's attorney's notes, and if I had to guess what they were hoping to gain in that subpoena is the exact language and details of the plea agreement, what all was discussed, and what exactly are the requirements that for the testimony, because remember, it has to be to the satisfaction of the state. That's part of the deal. And he's got to testify in this trial, and then he's got to testify next year in his father's trial. So if I had to guess, that's what they want. And oh, bless it, forever trolling. Send it to me. I would like to see it. I would appreciate it. And I will do whatever it is that I have to do to fix it where I can play it. But I'm not going to play it tonight because I got to get off of here. But thank you guys all for being here. Anyways, I don't know. I think old Jake might be on the stand in the morning tomorrow for a little bit because there's been so many delays and blah blah blah. And he's opted out. So, but I'll try to stream in the morning. If not, I will definitely be live tomorrow night, and we'll just go over stuff. And then be looking out because I already did my first episode of the on the Dahmer series. I'm not talking about Jeffrey Dahmer. I'm talking about the victims. I think it's important that we know who they were, and their stories. We all know Dahmer's story, and quite frankly, like it's a fascinating. His story is his story, and it's interesting and whatever. But I want to focus on the victims and their stories and who they were. And I have to say, I was inspired by Ryan Murphy because of the way that he did his series, Dahmer, and focused a lot on the victims. And I thought that was cool. And I wanted to do that. So thanks, you guys. I'm going to end it for reals, even though I've been sitting by for like 27 minutes now, but I'm really leaving. I'll see you guys tomorrow at some point. Okay. Y'all stay safe and be careful, and hug your babies tight. And any of you guys who've got littles who are going to school to have Halloween parties, enjoy it because I don't have any littles anymore. And I have to actually go to the store and get candy. I can't even like confiscate Halloween candy anymore. Sad, sad times over at the Jen Lou household. All right. Good night, you guys. Have a great rest of your night. Bye.